Yes, but Daniela's going to go over what we did last time. And we do have candy prizes for people who speak up and just get involved.
Okay, good morning. Last class we talked about social work with families, and we said that our 3 goals were summarized with 3 feminine approaches to family therapy, have the basic group work concepts defined, and apply concepts above into family groups and relate them to family situations. We start with Allison. She talked to us about what the definition of family was. Also, she talked to us about the difference of family forms that affects culture or certain legal status, for example, the gay marriage, and the definition of normal, what the definition of normal is. We talk about 2 kinds of families. Extended family is all the people related to the nuclear family. Is uncles, aunts, cousins, little cousins, more little cousins. I have too many of those too. Nuclear family is just people that couples that have kids. We also talk about the functions we have. The first one is to, as God said, to fill the earth, to care for John, socialize new members, the regulation of their sexual behavior, and as a source of affection. We also talk about the problems that the family faces, and we talk about EcoMap. There is this thing here, and we talk about the genera, that those are 2 scams that we can use to dig deep into the family, how they are built, and also how to help them. We talk about family therapy, and then we talk about verbal and nonverbal communication. Verbal, of course, when we talk and we try to express our in a written and a spoken way. But then we talk about the nonverbal communication that includes our facial expression, voice inflection, body position, and we talk also about incongruent messages and contradictory messages, that kind of thing that we do not know what the people is trying to say exactly. But today we is going to present about family groups.
Thank you. Okay, and since we're doing family groups, I thought it'd be kind of a good idea to show off my family. These in the center, that's my parents. My brother Glenn, he's my older brother. He's in the Army. He's the one in green. And then my 2 younger brothers are twins. And the one on the left, the Marine, that's him and his wife Heidi, who's from Botswana. And then the one on the right in the Marine outfit is my brother Sean and his wife Nellie, who's from Reynosa. So to start this out, I thought I'd define what a norm is, which is there are rules that specify specific groups in a behavior, and every family has different norms. And the different kind of rules are implicit rules that are understood but never discussed, and I'm going to come back to that in just a second. And then there are explicit rules that are written, spokenly, they're open and they're spoken. And so, like, a parent may tell a kid, you need to look both ways before you cross the street, and that's an explicit rule. That's what a parent says. But an implicit rules, they're the most powerful type of rules. They're unspoken, but you just know that this is how the family works, and this is like that you don't say certain things to dad or mom, and so the book gives us two different examples. One is family A, who they have they have superficial conversation in their family, like this family only talks about the weather and about certain things on TV, but they never really get into personal things. It's kind of taboo. And so like if a family asks, did you ask them, or they're asking somebody about so-and-so's boyfriend, and they're like, kind of offended. Oh, I didn't ask them. I didn't want to impose. I didn't want to. But family B, they give an example of another family who's very open, and they can talk about boyfriends, girlfriends. They can talk about different. They can talk about religion and politics. Anything is on the table. Whereas family A, they could only talk about very superficial things, but both are normal for each family. And there's my family again out at Osage Hills. A role is a culturally determined pattern of behavior that is prescribed for an individual who occupies a specific status or rank in relationship to others. So like my dad, I always looked at him. He was my father, my provider, he was my guide, and in some of the things in what I did, and my mom, I always looked at her as emotional support, and as the glue that held everybody together. And we also had informal roles, which are like you look to each other like, oh, he's the troublemaker of the family, or and she's the black sheep of the family. Anybody have a black sheep of your family?
You're not supposed to make it personal. I don't want to hear you. I'm kidding.
I know I do, but it's in my extended family. So we have some cousins that we just haven't seen because, we haven't spent a whole lot of time with, and they're great kids, but their moms, she leads kind of a different lifestyle. And but we've been trying to include them in our family a lot more because they just had it rough growing up, and they need somebody to come to whenever. And so, but anyway, we also have the scapegoat. There are positive informal roles too, but that was just a few examples. And I have a piece of candy for anybody who would like to read this definition. It's out of the book. It's from Charles Zastrow, the author of our book, and it's just talking about the structure of the family and how you can understand how to understand.
A family structure is the invisible set of functional demands or roles that organize the way family members relate to one another. The structure that governs a family's transaction can be understood by observing the family in action or by seeing interactions unfold among family members and their possessions. To understand the family structure, it is useful to pay attention to who says what to whom and in what way and with what result. By noting family process rather than listening for mere content, the therapist can detect problematic transactions.
Thank you very much. And you get a piece of candy. Whatever one you want. You can even pick two. And I like what he says about understanding the family by looking at how people interact with each other, even how my parents interact with each one of my brothers is different how they interact with me, and how I interact with my brothers is different how they interact with each other. For example, my two younger brothers, they're twins, and actually those are the twins of my brother in the orange. But they have we're all real close, but I would say that they have this special twin bond that is stronger than even my relationship with them. So, but yeah, you can really tell a lot by observing how people interact with each other. These are my twin nieces. Humana, Paloma, they were 4 months there. Aren't they adorable? So it's important for any group to establish goals to give each other direction and motivate its members. Would you say that's true? Yeah, because if you don't have a goal and you're going to therapy, are you really going to get anywhere? No. And so a problem consensus is between the family and a therapist, and they arrive at a general agreement and about what problems are to be dealt with in their family. And goals, they always need to be seen as relevant, because if one person has a different goal in mind, or if they don't see the goal as relevant, then they're not really going to care about what's going on in therapy. They're not going to give as much input, or so that's always important to make sure that everybody's on the same page. This is me before I went skydiving. So hidden agendas are personal goals held by a member of a group that's unknown to other members that interferes with the accomplishment of group goals. And I have a story. Has anybody ever seen Whose Line Is It Anyway? Yeah, I like that. So I need four volunteers. I need one guy in particular. Can I have him participate? Would he like to participate?
Lennox, you want to play a game? Want to play a game? No?
No, okay, that's
It's
fine.
pretty clear.
At least
You
he's
can
willing.
watch and see if he wants to play.
Okay, so you don't have to say anything, but I want you to, I'm going to read a story, and I need 4 people to just kind of act out whatever I say. So if I'm even describing you, you can kind of just like, just act out whatever I say, okay? It's not hard, I promise. Okay, I'm going to start picking somebody. If people don't. And you get candy. Well, thank you for volunteering. Yeah, come up here. Okay, great.
Good job.
You can be our therapist. You're Wilhelmina View. And all right, and you're the dad. You can be Jason.
Okay, go ahead, Jason.
Okay. And I need 2 more volunteers.
Haru.
Okay, and let me see. Who wants to be the kid and who wants to be the mom?
You could be the mom.
Okay, you're the mom, you're Emma, and and you're Jamie, you're the 4-year-old child. Okay, so a couple came to university. Do you want a chair? So a couple came to University Diagnostic Training Center to have their 4-year-old daughter, Jamie, who is a developmental disability, evaluated for future education and therapy. The Diagnostic Center evaluated the whole family on the basis of physical, emotional, and psychological needs. You can evaluate. This is your interpretation. Good. Therefore, part of their overall assessment, other family members and their relationship were also examined. The mother, Emma, she was a slender, pretty, extremely quiet woman. 28. She seemed to be cooperative and eager to do whatever she could do to help her daughter deal with her disability. The father, Jason, a tall, handsome, personable man of 30, also expressed his strong desires to cooperate, as he was very outgoing and she was very quiet. He did virtually all the talking. You can talk about that. So, okay. Okay, the social worker began to talk about the parents' relationship as part of the overall assessment and training process. And much of Jimmy's extensive physical and psychological assessment had already been completed, and Jimmy's father dismissed all the talk about the marital relationship as an unimportant procedural matter.
We almost, I'm sorry.
That's okay. You just dismissed, yeah, that's pretty dismissive.
Yeah, he just did it. Oh, what's going on?
The father, in essence, was saying that he appreciated all the efforts of the center staff and everything else was fine. As usual, he was doing all the talking. The social worker made a point of asking Jamie's mother to describe, in the book it says Jimmy, but you're Jamie. To describe her feelings about their relationship, but her husband began to answer for her. The social worker gently broke in and asked if she could please answer the question herself. The woman hesitated and looked down at the floor. Then she blurted out, "I can't stand it anymore. I want a divorce." Her husband's jaw dropped. And the social worker looked stunned. I'm sure
Yeah.
Jamie looked stunned too. Neither of them had an inkling of her strong feelings before this. Upon further exploration, several problems in the couple relationship were uncovered. Jamie's mother she felt suffocated by things she considered to be her husband's overbearing, dogmatic attitude. During their 8 years of married life, she felt that she could never voice her opinion or function as an individual. She was also sick of having sole responsibility for her housework. For years, you need to look a little more upset. For years, she had secret ambitions of becoming a legal librarian. However, because of her quiet personality and her insecurity, she never felt confident enough to express her feelings. Her husband, on the other hand, felt that she needed protection and direction. And many times he had become tired of the burden of assuming responsibility for making all of the family decisions. He had often wished his wife would become more assertive, but he didn't feel it was in her nature to do so. In one way, he felt relieved that she finally expressed her true feelings. So further discussion revealed that they were both relieved to get their feelings out in the open and hear what the other truly felt. The treatment sessions helped to establish new patterns of communication and behavior. With feedback, her husband became aware of how it had become a habit to answer questions for his wife. His wife also became aware that she needed to be more assertive and not rely on her husband to answer for her. They began to establish a more equal relationship. Oh, they made up. And discussed how to divide household chores and child care tasks more evenly. So when his wife began training to become a legal librarian, her husband gave her his genuine support. Not only was he proud of her for developing individuality, but also appreciated the extra income she would be bringing to the new household. So this experience, thank you all. Can you give them a hand? And I'll give you candy.
Yay.
Sure.
So can you see how the goals really needed to be defined in the group, and one of them had a hidden agenda. Whose agenda was hidden?
Moms.
Right. Because the dad and nobody else knew that she really had a desire to be more independent and to have a voice in the family, and that she really wanted her husband to be doing other things house. And so this is why it's important for goals to be brought out in the open so that everybody can function and move into more this was therapeutic because that everybody realized what needed to be done at the end, and the mom and the dad, they were able to like be more open with each other and express what they wanted to have done in the family, like for him to do more household chores and be supportive and let her speak. So it all worked out in the end. So, okay, Daniela is next.
Family conflicts, problems, and resolution. The definition of conflict is an antagonistic state or action involving divergent ideas or interests. We have three basic examples of conflict in families. The first one is the marital conflict. The second one is parent-child conflict. And the last one, but not less important, is individual conflict. Start with marital difficulties. Most people say that in marriage, the basic or the first need is to have a good communication. And if you have a good communication, you will have a happy marriage. I don't think it's true at all, but I do know that communication is really important. An example that is in our books is about Linda and Bill. They got married after she was like pushing him to get married because she wants to be committed in a really committed relationship, and he didn't want that. So before losing her, he decided to get married. They thought after getting married they would be happy, as most people, but things didn't change. She was expecting from him to be able to spend time with her and do things together, but instead of that, he was going to the gym every night. On weekends, she will be by herself, and he will be hanging out with his friends. This was what was happening in their relationship, and it made me think about Valentine's Day. There was an image running around Facebook and all that kind of media that says, well, what I want to do this Friday night, talking about Valentine's Day. And this guy, all with muscles and everything, answered the cell phone and said, let me check, I think it's leg day. And for me, that was, that was really disappointing, because even when we see that it's so stupid, it does happen. And, well, that was the thing, that was the conflict they were having after therapy. They were able to communicate ideas and to really understand what the other people were saying. Because sometimes we do say something, but we don't really mean what we say. It's really hard to explain sometimes, and we will see examples later in the presentation. But sometimes that happens and can make relationships very, very difficult. The second one is parent-child. I choose these two pictures on top because I think that raising kids now is more dangerous than years before. I have too many cousins. When I say too many, I truly say too many. It's really hard. They're 2-3 years old, and it's amazing how they can think at that age. And sometimes it's really, really hard to raise kids. The other picture is a teenager, because we all remember those days. Maybe some of us in this room are just now leaving that stage in our life. And I really do encourage you to do not forget it, even if it was stressful or really hard stage in your life. Just don't forget it, because later in life you can use all that experience to try to understand other people. I did work with teenagers for around 2 years, and it was an experience that made me feel not better with myself, but it made me take empathy and have empathy for teenagers and try to understand, because this is stage in our life, we are not kids, but we are not adults. So it's like, so what I'm going to do? And then, and the other side is, I want to have freedom, but I wouldn't want to pay for my cell phone bill. So see, is that really hard difficulty? And these two stages in life make really a strong, real strong conflict for parents. One good thing is books, people, research that spend their life or time to give us tools to overcome all those difficulties. One of them is Jeff Thompson, and I really like the Spanish version of the book. And I really like the Spanish version of the book because it talks about how we can raise a very strong character in the kids. Then we have personal problems. Sometimes if we choose to be in family therapy and work as a social worker, we will have people coming to our offices to say, well, it's all his fault or her fault. He's just a pig, or people will use that kind of words in therapy to refer to their husband or their wife, and it's really sad. And we have to remind ourselves and themselves that when something happens in a family, it's not just somebody, it's just an individual fault. It involves everyone. It involves everyone. So blaming others is something that we have to fight with. Individual problems, as we see in this other picture, is no matter whether you're going through, it will affect your family too. If someone tells you in your house, you will come to school and you will affect the people around you, and you will affect the teacher, and the teacher will go to his house and will affect his family related too. So, how we solve this? We have 3 different approaches. Family therapy, focus, and 3 approaches. I'm going to read exactly from the book: communication partner, family subsistence, and cognitive behavioral approach. The communication partner approach says or states, this approach focuses on the ways in which people communicate under stress, often under inflexible family rules, and engage in the process of change. That goes really related to what I said before about saying what I want to say. The subsystem approach is, the statement says, the primary emphasis on restructuring the major family subsystems so that each subsystem interacts appropriately and accomplishes the major duties. To make the point in this concept, I will ask you, please do it up. We have 1, 2, 3, please. 4 in this group. You, Roberto, please, here. So we have 2 families now. You are 3 childs.
He wants. Can he be in the family? You know, he wants to be a part of the family.
You want to be? It's
You wanna
fine.
come up?
You can get candy. It's good.
Come on up. Leave your iPad there.
It's
No?
fine.
Okay.
Okay. So we have 3 childs. We have wife and husband. I don't know. We don't have any more guys today. And wife, husband, and child. But these 2 groups will be related because you are cousins. So let's make circles. First of all, the couples. Hold hands, please. Both hands, like a circle. No, you 2, okay. Sorry for the I will try to make it more clear. Okay, hold hands. Hold hands. Okay. And then you three hold hands. But you have to make the point and go here because you're a family. So that's another circle. Yeah. You two hold hands, please. And do the same. You're going here because these are your parents. I don't know how to make this, but you two need to hold hands. No, go across. Go across is fine. Because you're cousins. So you two have to hold hands. Okay. Yeah. See if. Let's try to find my circle. Okay. If I will try. I know I'm gonna push you. Okay. I'm just gonna try to pull you this way, as much as you can, towards me, please. Okay. If I move this circle, I'm gonna affect the other circles, right? If this circle is okay, this one will be okay. This one will be better. This one will be better too. We'll go back to your seats. Okay. That's a subsystem. It states that we have relationships that if we will draw strong relationships, we will have stronger relationships around it. The third one, sorry, is the cognitive behavioral therapy. Third approach, and talks about cognitive factors such as thoughts, attitudes, beliefs, and expectations are the primary determinants of all our emotions and behaviors, and the negative and irrational thoughts are the primary determinants of unwanted emotions and dysfunctional behavior. So that means what I'm thinking, I'm doing. The way I think, the way I do act. I would like to focus my attention today in communication pattern. Virginia Satir, correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct.
Okay.
You're right.
Okay. We're gonna watch her later in the video, short video. And Emerson, that guy. So I like this too. I was going through videos and some notes that they have, and it was really interesting to see how simple could be, but how complex it is. It's an antagonist state. It's so simple, but then at the same time, human beings are so complex. The first one, this one. This is the first video.
In the school of family therapy that you founded, Content Family Therapy, you spent a lot of focus is just studying the way communication occurs in the family to diagnose what that family's problems are.
And as long as, that's right, and as long as we're on that subject, let me tell you something that came out so clearly after I worked with many, many people. There were two dialogues that go on. One is the dialogue of the words, and the other is the dialogue of feeling. And many times those are different. I'll give you a little illustration. Ask me how I am.
How are you?
I'm fine, Jeff. Now, when I said that, tell me what happened to you.
Well, you had a very cold tone to your voice, so I thought you're trying to distance.
Yeah, but didn't you hear the words? That I was fine?
Yeah,
All right, so you see, this is typical.
yeah.
Or ask me again if I like something, whatever it is.
Okay, do you enjoy being here on TV today, Virginia?
Oh, I think that it's just wonderful. Now I'm doing something else. I'm sending out another message about the words that disclaim what I'm doing. Now the thing I found out, just like in the first illustration, the thing I found out is those two levels of the dialogue come from two different places in the person. They are not an attempt to bring public trouble to other people. That's not where it comes. These are totally unconscious.
I think you call one level the meta-communication.
Right.
In other words, every time we communicate, we have a message, and we're also communicating a message about our message.
That's right, exactly. And that's,
We're gonna stop it so we can have time to watch the second one.
Pink and blue sunglasses. Two colors, two views.
Male and female communication. It is a fun topic. It is a fun topic. She says, I have nothing to wear. What she means is she has nothing new. He says, I have nothing to wear. What he means is he has nothing clean. I liken it to the fact that God made women to look at the world through pink sunglasses. And it colors what she sees. In fact, I don't know if you know it, but she has pink hearing aids. It affects what she hears. And in fact, she speaks through a pink megaphone. Men, on the other hand, wear blue sunglasses and have blue hearing aids and speak through a blue megaphone. So, for instance, if that woman is among 10 women and she says, I have nothing to wear, she speaks that through a pink megaphone. All 10 women who are listening through the pink hearing aids knows exactly what she meant by what she said. Oh, honey, I don't have anything new either, but we're going shopping in a few minutes. You want to come down with us? If that guy is speaking to 10 guys through his blue megaphone and they're listening through their blue hearing aid, I don't have anything to wear. They'll all say, she ain't doing your laundry either.
Come to a Love and Respect Marriage Conference. We'll
It's so true. Just